first candle signifies wisdom and high scholarship. First of the requirements for admission to the society is scholarship. National Junior Honor Society members have inquiring minds, a capacity for hard work, and eagerness for knowledge. These members have been chosen, first of all, because of their high scholastic standing and faithfulness to their studies. President John Fitzgerald Kennedy exemplified in his early life the development of scholars. Coming from a close-knit and ambitious family, he went into competition constantly. Comments made by his father indicate that his achievements were usually overshadowed by those of his older brothers. But he worked hard. By the time he entered college, John Kennedy was an excellent student, and he graduated from Harvard University, magna cum laude. His master's thesis, while English life, showed the observation and self-discipline that are the hallmarks of great scholarship. In his second book, Profile in Courage, was awarded the Pulitzer Prize. President John F. Kennedy is strong proof that there is need in our democratic society for the scholar. Only an educated and informed people can truly be free.
I have lighted the candle that embodies leadership and growth. Those who dare to stand upon their own initiative are leaders of life. But while leading, they must grow by listening to the advice of those who are more experienced, by heeding the advice of those who are wiser, and by reading and studying the words of those who are more knowledgeable. The price of leadership is sacrifice, willingness to yield to one's own personal interests for the interests of others, and a willingness to give up one's own time and personal preferences for the sake of others. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the quality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. When asked to list great Americans who exemplify the quality of leadership, the name Theodore Roosevelt was often found. His achievements as a naturalist, explorer, hunter, author, and soldier are as much a part of his fame as any office he held as a politician. Roosevelt demonstrated superior leadership skills at every level of enterprise, as a member of the New York State Assembly, Governor of New York, Police Commissioner of New York City, Vice President of the United States, and as a 26th President. When the Spanish-American War broke out in 1898, Roosevelt resigned his post as Secretary of the Navy and created and commanded the Rough Riders, a volunteer cavalry regiment that fought in Cuba. Under Roosevelt, the Rough Riders wrote into history books with the fabled charge of San Juan Hill, an action for which Roosevelt was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor in 2001. In 1900, William McKinley selected Roosevelt as his running mate in the presidential election following McKinley's assassination in 1901. Roosevelt became the president at age 42. He remains the youngest president. Roosevelt coined the phrase "square deal" to describe his domestic agenda, emphasizing that the average citizen would get a fair share of his policies. As an outdoorsman and a naturalist, he promoted the conservation movement and is credited with creating our national park system. On the world stage, Roosevelt's policies were characterized by his slogan, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." Roosevelt was the force behind the completion of the Panama Canal. He sent the Great White Fleet on a world tour to demonstrate American power and negotiated an end to the Russo-Japanese War, for which he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Roosevelt remains the only U.S. president to have received both the Nobel Peace Prize and the Medal of Honor. Although he died relatively young at the age of 60, it is a tribute to Roosevelt as a leader that he is consistently ranked by scholars as one of the greatest U.S. presidents.
The candle represents the purity of character, which seems to be the essence of life itself. The National Junior Honor Society recognizes the development of good character in the individual as of supreme importance. The real student whose character is expressed through his personality works with a purpose. He scorns sham and pretense. She keeps her mind wide open and is wide awake for new ideas. Character is manifested by many qualities: responsibility, dependability, friendliness, honesty, diligence, perseverance, clarity, and patriotism, to name but a few. Julius Caesar J.C. Watts was born and raised in Eufaula, Oklahoma, in a rural, impoverished neighborhood. After being one of the first children to attend an integrated elementary school, he became a high school quarterback and gained a football scholarship for the University of Oklahoma. He graduated in 1981 with a degree in journalism, and although drafted by the New York Jets, he chose instead to play in the Canadian Football League until his retirement in 1986. Watts became a Baptist member and was elected in 1990 to the Oklahoma Corporation Commission as the first African American in Oklahoma to win statewide office. He successfully ran for Congress in 1994 and was re-elected to 3 additional terms with increasing margins of victory each time. Watts delivered the Republican response to Bill Clinton's 1997 State of the Union address and was elected chair of the House Republican Conference in 1998. In 2002, Watts stated that he would not seek re-election, citing a desire to spend more time with his family. But he stated the decision was difficult because Rosa Parks had personally asked him to stay. He retired from Congress in 2003. Throughout his political career, Watts had to fight off attacks on his character by opponents who realized that campaigns are filled with mud-slinging allegations and that the voting public would excuse attacks against a person's character, whereas they would not forgive attacking a person's race or ethnicity.
Yo pienso que no. Que si Brianda no va a hablar, es que va a decir a ti te deshace. Yo pienso que de los destacados hay otros más destacados como siempre.
The light of this candle is the flame of service. Service means more than work. It is the striving and laboring for the betterment of others. There are various forms of service that a National Junior Honor Society may render. Service to one's school, service to one's country, service to one's home and family. Members of the society will constantly strive to put others before their own pleasure, help those who are less fortunate than themselves, and will serve in every possible way their school, community, and country. Each of us here today can and should view service as a building block in the foundation of our future. Only through aiding others will we form the sturdy backbone necessary for strong government. In this day and age, it is impossible for anyone to completely isolate himself from the rest of the world. Service is a must. Robert Francis Kennedy's life was marked with a burning desire to serve others. After graduating from the University of Virginia Law School in 1951, he started work as a lawyer in the Internal Security Section, which investigated suspected Soviet agents of the Criminal Division of the U.S. Department of Justice before transferring to the Eastern District of New York in Brooklyn to prosecute foreign cases. He later served as chief counsel of the 1957 to 1959 Senate Labor Rackets Committee, Program Organized Crime, which made him a target for the mafia. Serving as Attorney General, he became President Kennedy's most trusted advisor. Particularly during the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, he was at the forefront of the Kennedy administration efforts to bring an end to segregation in the South, and saw voting as the key to racial justice, and collaborated with President Kennedy and Johnson to create the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964, which helped bring an end to Jim Crow laws. As a senator from New York, He undertook a 1960 tour of South Africa in which he championed the cause of the anti-apartheid movement. Robert Kennedy